Okay.
Good. Okay, wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time this morning. Thanks to staff for reorganizing us at another time. We'll see how this works for everyone as we get into the conversation about future meeting dates and times a little later. I believe we do have a quorum. Is that correct?
We do.
All right, perfect. First order of business is consideration of approval for the minutes from March 18th. We have not had quorum in order to approve those minutes, so today will be our first opportunity to do so. So does anyone like to move to approve?
This is move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, approved. Victoria citizen comment period. Do we have any citizens with us today?
We do not.
Okay. All right, move to point 5, possible action. Receive, report, hold a discussion, provide staff direction regarding updates from the board on city council's request and inland hotel taxi revenues. Do you want to start that, Victoria? I can jump in whenever you're ready.
Okay. So several months ago, the council had asked us to take a look at several things related to hotel, hospitality, hot fund research, and also as compared to our benchmark cities. And this is in preparation for us gearing up for several big projects that we have coming forward. I mean, we know we have a new hospital coming. We know we have a sportsplex that is planned in the Plum Creek area. 2 different developers have agreed to donate property to the city for hotel and conference center use. So this is just to help council understand where we stand as compared to other cities, surrounding cities, and just how we can help move the needle forward to be in line with where others are, I guess. If we're lacking, we know that we're lacking in the hotel space when we look at our neighbors in San Marcos and Buda. So this is, I know some of us have done some research on that. So if we look through these are kind of small. Eddie, do you want to go through I know last time you kind of went and ran through the slides.
Really, I'll just focus on 2 things today. Just the quick update using the comparable cities that Kyle usually uses for salary benchmarking, et cetera. The board felt it was a good exercise to include those cities just because council will be familiar with them, with all the other benchmarking that gets done. So I've at least listed out the facilities that are in these locations. The next step is going to be some homework and figure out things like cost to construct, who owns and operates, and any other detail we can acquire before the meeting.
Eddie, Victoria, just a quick question. Is this information that you're presenting, was it included in our packet? I don't see that. I just see the previous, like what we're looking at, but is this
there's only one page. There's only one page that's been changed. And that's the page that includes comparable cities / convention center, conference centers. That's the only change.
Julie, Susan is going to email it to you because it was a new slide that Eddie just sent over this morning.
Oh, awesome.
So we printed them here, and she'll send it to you and Spencer to look at.
And thank you. Okay.
And yes, and then we also, the share folder that we have that's available to this whole group, they're in there as well. But quickly, she'll just email them to you.
So the other thing that I've added today is a pro forma from a facility, 120,000 square foot facility that was constructed primarily as an athletic venue, where they run lots of tournaments, bring in lots of big crowd, but then also has anchored tenants who own volleyball clubs and basketball clubs. It's privately owned and it does turn a profit. an interesting business model for the city to be aware of. So I know we typically get into a very clear focus on meeting space in typical conference centers. But if you're looking at how to increase hotel tax, a great tool is sports tourism, which frankly is the world I come from. So natural, I would lean there a bit. Not that there aren't convention centers and conference centers that could be very applicable to our community, but my intimate knowledge is really on the sports side of things. So that'll be a little more prevalent in the information that gets presented. And then, you know, my guess is council will redirect us at points they want to learn more about, which will represent what I think will be a second phase of this effort.
What page is that on, Eddie? Your
Is that two or three? I think it's two. You've got benchmark cities, and then the next slide.
Comparable
cities. So my proposal for this group is obviously this is not in an approvable format now. What I want to do is gather whatever feedback this group may have for how you would like to see this evolve before it gets presented. And I think the action that I would propose we consider is board approval to move forward with the presentation, subject to approval by staff. So that'll give Victoria and her team the opportunity to review everything before it goes. So it's not gonna, you're not looking at final here. You're looking at the data that will make up the final presentation. It'll be on the standard template that the city's used to seeing in terms of the Kyle graphics and branding. So it will look excellent when it gets there, and will limit the amount of the presentation and include an addendum if people want to see more detail. So the plan in actually reviewing in front of council, be really high level, a few pages of slides, open it for questions and comments, get out with our follow-up steps. So that general strategy, but as we have quorum today, I want to walk through any of this anybody has questions on. So this information's been out on the hotel folder that Susan made for us for some time. The only change was literally adding in the benchmark cities from the last time I've shared this information. So if anyone has any questions on the material or commentary about what to include, what not to include, things that may be missing that you feel council should hear at this stage. Again, to me, the ideal result would be to get in front of them, present the information, and then issue us a few follow-up steps where they may want to learn more, whether it's trends in hotel tax generation or additional pro forma examples of different type of buildings. Who knows what exactly they'll ask us for, but my hope is that we'll exit that council meeting with that kind of feedback.
Mm-hmm. It's good timing because on this coming Saturday, the council will also have an item on their special called agenda meeting agenda to discuss the possibility of a sportsplex, adding it to the bond, and taking it to the voters in November to fund a multi-sports indoor-outdoor complex. So I think with that conversation that they have, plus this detailed information we give them, then they may give us more direction on where they'd like to see us focus our attention on. So good timing. I think I'm presenting the Economic Development Strategic Plan on the second meeting in July, which is July 16th. So possibly if you're not available that first meeting in July, then we can double up and hit them with both presentations on. I'll have to check with the city manager on, because I know there's a lot on the agendas.
15.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
The things I really want them to hear,
Mhm.
whether they read everything else or not, it's up to them.
right.
But a
I
15
think they
minutes,
like,
I think would be great.
yes. Yep. Yeah, I don't think they'll be the ones that'll dictate if they want the longer conversation. But yeah, your presentation should
Yeah,
be.
which I certainly welcome. I just don't want to overload them.
Mm-hmm.
Really not having a great feel yet for where they want to.
Right, because they could be going down a different path
Yeah.
depending on how conversation goes on Saturday as well. Well, Susan and I can certainly work to put this in city format, and then we'll run it by our city manager to make sure it's what he intended, or, you know, what he feels is ready to go to council. It's some good.
We need an action item in this meeting to move into that process, or are we good to move into that process?
We do need an action item, because then, you know, we can tell the council, as recommended by the entire board, we're bringing this before you.
So the recommendation, I'm going to propose a recommendation. There's a few elements. One, that the general content is going in the right direction. That the format will be consistent with what the city generally is used to receiving. And that staff will have the ability to review, edit, approve before the meeting. I think those are the key elements of the action. Does anyone else see anything else we need to build into that? All right, we'll write that up in a pretty way, but essentially I'll then propose that we move forward with the data that's in the current deck to format it in a comfortable way for the city, giving staff the ability to review, approve, edit before the presentation to the city council. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay, then we'll write that up and move forward accordingly. The next time everybody sees this, it'll be in presentation form. Go from there. Thanks to everybody who helped contribute to it. I may reach out with some more asks between here and the actual presentation.
Hold on.
Sorry. But
Okay.
I think we'll be in very good shape.
Okay, thank you, Eddie.
So above, getting back to the agenda. Sure, you want to talk now about the
Oh, the next item?
schedule for our meetings
Mm-hmm.
moving forward?
Yes. So when we interviewed everybody,
If you're talking, we cannot hear you.
okay, can you hear us? Okay, it's from my computer. It's not from the big TV. Okay, so I'm talking about the item for the schedule of the board meetings and the dates and times. So just for some history, we used to, years and years ago, meet in the evenings, you know, from 6 to 8. But then when we changed the makeup of our board to have more stakeholders that lived outside of Kyle, so we would have Tessa that would come from Johnson City and Dawn that would come from Cedar Park. Eddie, not Eddie, but Tony would come from Wimberley. So we decided to meet in the daytime because it might be easier for those members to get here and not have to be here late at night. So we just kept that time frame. But now, you know, with the change in the makeup of our board and recognizing that a lot of you are business owners and have priorities of business duties during the day, and for sake of quorum and not having to cancel meetings, are your thoughts of keeping the meeting? Is 11 to 2 every, you know, second Wednesday of the month still good? Or would you like us to consider this early morning meeting or an evening meeting? And I know there's a couple, well, Spencer's online and Julie, but you know, we'd have to ask Calvin. And then we also have one board member seat available because Ariane resigned. She moved outside of city limits, so she had to resign her seat. So what are your thoughts, Julian? I know I know every day's different, right, for business owners,
I
so,
like this, I don't like this 8 a.m. Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of frees up the rest of my day.
yeah,
But 11 also works.
okay.
I'm kind of liking this 8 a.m.
I know, Dr. Wright, last time you said it's kind of hard to get your day going and then have to stop what you're doing to come here. You'd rather come early, finish business, and then get back to your other business.
Prefer the 8 a.m. The 11 works for me too. The night one would not because we have our own facilities and bond oversight committee meetings usually on Wednesdays at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
but
Julie said early
Like-
morning in the chat.
Oh, early morning. Okay, thank you, Julie. We got that. Spencer? Or you can
Yeah,
just
so
put it in the
either-
chat. I know you're,
Okay.
okay.
That works.
Okay, yeah, put it in the chat since I know you're at the airport. If early morning at this early mornings and evenings would be on my side. Okay, so the midday meetings don't work very well for Spencer. Luke, tell us about your schedule.
I prefer 11, but I could do 8 if it works for the greater good. The evenings I would be opposed to.
Yeah. Do you, the second Wednesday of every month at 8, do you have any conflicts? We met on an off week this week only because next week I will be traveling, but also we wanted to try to get this prepared for the council agenda for early July. But if we need to move it, we can. I just want to know if anyone has standing meetings that would conflict with, Mike, any standing meetings? Second Wednesday of every month at 8 a.m.
Meetings at 12 on Wednesdays. So the midday I could do, but I would have to leave at 12. but-
Okay, so an 8 a.m. meeting
8
would be
a.m.
better.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can even do 8:30 if. Now you're getting into me. Yeah, yeah. Just, knowing that we'll have breakfast ready for you and coffee between 8 and 8:15-ish. We could just plan to get started before 8:30 and
That's when I'll start to run into conflicts a little bit later. I mean, if we're gonna do the morning, I'd like to start.
it needs to be at the morning. Yeah, because then you
I'll
have
just-
to.
I'll just have to follow up around 9.
Just,
Which
right.
either way, it's fine. I mean, that's something to approve of.
I think we can do some work. Agenda planning to really try to let the documents speak loudly. So that what we actually need to cover when we're physically in the room together, we try to keep to an hour. And really try to have a hard stop an hour after we begin moving voting items to the beginning of the agenda. Such that if we have quorum at the beginning of the meeting, we're able to take care of those things. If we don't have quorum at the beginning of the meeting, but we expect to have it at some point in the meeting, we can defer those items until we have quorum.
Okay.
But I think, going 2 meetings in a row without having quorum just limits our ability and what we can push forward. So, without some sort of action in this meeting to push it forward, we couldn't even tell the council we'll be ready to present. So I'm really glad we were able to pull quorum together today, even if it were only to vote on that item and we could have dismissed everybody. So I think we can be judicious with the use of everyone's time. We can really limit the amount of time we spend on just updates. The updates are in the notes. If you'd like to read them, they're there. If you have questions on them, we'll have time for that. But I think if we can commit to you all that we're gonna have a hard stop 60 minutes after we begin, hopefully the meeting becomes as easy as possible for everyone to attend as often as possible, recognizing none of us are likely to have 100% attendance.
Mhm.
I understand that. And we can really share when we have an important action item we need to move through and we really have to have quorum. I think it should be our responsibility to let everybody know that. So not that we want everyone to take a pass on a bunch of the meetings, because I do think really good conversation happens here. But I do think reality is we're down a board member. It's going to be hard to hit quorum. So I think we need to just be thoughtful about when we're asking you guys to step up and please don't miss if at all possible. So I think we can do that, Victoria, to help us achieve quorum when we really need it.
Okay, so Julie said that she is not available in the mornings on the second Wednesdays because she has business over breakfast. She's not a voting member, but if we had any flexibility to move it to the first Wednesday, which is today, right? Today is the first Wednesday. Luke, Dr.
No,
Wright,
no objection.
do any of you, Mike, any of you have standing meetings on
Actually
the
would work better.
first Wednesday?
If you're saying 8 to 9 on the first Wednesday, then that would be fine. I wouldn't have an objection to that.
Yeah.
With the exception of July, that's right around July 4th. I just have a trip planned. But yeah.
I think, that-
A Thursday, so it's July 3rd.
oh, yeah. Mhm.
Other than that, though, I don't see an issue.
Okay, so Julie, I think we'll move it to the first Wednesday. Spencer, is that okay with you? That works for you, first Wednesday, except for July.
That August, first Wednesday in August,
Okay, and we'll start that in August.
then July will be July 10th.
Okay,
Does that
okay,
work?
yes, July 10th at 8, and then August. In August, we'll start first
August 7th will
Wednesday.
be the next meeting.
Okay. Susan will send out the calendar invite, so we'll have it on our calendars. Okay. Thank you, all that. I think that'll work. And then we'll just continue to assess. And then we'll hopefully, do you have an update on the new board member? What did Jesse say or anybody?
They're working on, the process has changed, so they're still working on it.
That's what he presented last night.
I did present it last night. I don't know the status of the application process, so that's.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the application changed.
Are we supposed to be suggesting people for consideration?
Let me look at Ariane's seat because I think, she was just a resident, right? But we liked her background because she had the tourism background. So I think that seat is reserved for any resident of Kyle that lives within the city limits. But in particular, we liked her background of tourism. So maybe we'll try to find someone that fits
I
that
would
seat.
love
But if you have
to think-
recommendations.
Well, just as general sector, I think we should be recruiting from is our hotel sector.
Mhm.
So to the extent there are people within our current hotels or the ones coming that are likely to be contributing members of the community, I think having someone with a purview of a hotel, given where city council's head clearly is,
Yes.
would be an important point of view. If we could find someone who met the qualifications, I think that would be a really good candidate.
Mhm. And also, I think if it's not later today, then tomorrow I'm talking to Austin Community College about, we do have a seat reserved for an ex officio for the community college. And I'm talking to the president of this campus to see who he would recommend. He was thinking maybe somebody from the healthcare industry. Since I think that, with our new hospital coming and then their expansion of their healthcare at the community college, it might be a good fit. But he also knows the other candidate that we also talked to. So that's also a consideration. We'll see where that goes. Okay, we got those notes down. Any other discussion on this item? You
Just
need
full
to,
disclosure, the August, I'm gonna be out of town too. So I don't have a problem with that date. I'll
yeah.
go to the beach that week. So sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I think the idea is, it's okay every now and then to miss, but we, the rest are committed to coming. And so if we know ahead of time that you're planning to be out, then we can just make sure, the rest of the voting
I
members.
just didn't want us to set up the new date and then, so.
Okay.
And out there.
Okay.
I
Sounds
think
very-
August will be a challenge. I'll be at the Olympics, so not going to be available to attend.
Okay, well, let's get through July and then I think then we can maybe adjust.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
at the July meeting, we can discuss when in August works.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, that sounds fun, Eddie. Wow. Okay. Yes, and then I believe now you have to read the executive session. Oh. Do you have something you're gonna? Oh, she's gonna close. Did everybody even meet Amy? Did we introduce her? I'm so sorry. Amy,
Does not let me close the door.
oh, you know what?
I'm just gonna- Fine, so. Tell you what you need to say.
Do you have these that you could email Spencer and
Or
Julie?
read the whole paragraph?
The,
Amy said I cannot email them.
All right, next item on the agenda is moving us into executive
Oh,
session.
yes. Okay, go ahead.
Executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071 and the Texas Disciplinary Rule 1.05 to consult with attorneys concerning legal issues related to a potential agreement for a commercial development at or near 111 South Main Street with Olive and Murphy properties and or other persons or entities and pursuant to Texas Government Code 551-087 to discuss and deliberate regarding potential financial or other incentives to business prospects that the city seeks to have, locate, stay, expand, or expand in or near the city, which the city is conducting economic development negotiation related to something.
Just for the record, my name is Amy Alcorn-Reed. I'm the city attorney and I'm here when you have executive sessions. Because in order to have this executive session, there has to be an attorney in the room.
Out of executive session, we're ready? Yes. So we'd like to motion recommending that city council approve a grant in the amount of 25,000 for the development at 111 South Main Street.
All in favor?
We need a
Or,
second.
sorry, do I have a second?
a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Then we just motion to adjourn.
We're done?
Yeah, you want to make the motion?
No? We're good. All right, motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
We have a couple of-
Give you the gift of 7 minutes of your life back.